it's Ash from Super Videos, back for another Throwback Thursday Walking Dead Top 10 ranking video. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 dead characters, or top 10 characters that I would bring back who are either dead or permanently gone from the show. So let's start at number 10. At number 10, I have Shiva. Now, of course, you could make a case that Shiva is not really one of the characters, but it's still a character in my opinion. It's a tiger, but at the same time, you feel the connections that the tiger has to King Ezekiel and to some of the other characters. And you kind of have that feeling that it's just like another character, just like Rick, just like Carl. So I would say as far as characters go, it's at the bottom of the list. Obviously, it's at number 10, but it's still considered a character for me. And of course, who wouldn't want to have a tiger in the zombie apocalypse? So at number 10, I have Shiva. And I think if Shiva was still alive, they would have been a lot safer as a community, not just Kingdom, but all of them. We all remember how Carl was saved by Shiva. And I'm sure Shiva would have been able to do a lot more of those stuff going forward if it lived further. So definitely Shiva would be at number 10 for me. At number 9, I have the Governor. Now the Governor, even though he was definitely a much better character in the comics than the TV show adaptation of him, but at the same time, I loved David Morrissey as the Governor, and I think there was just a layer that David Morrissey brought to the Governor character that wasn't really there in the comics. But at the same time, I do think that the Governor in the TV show was a little underwhelming and a weaker character than his comic book counterpart. But with that said, I loved David Morrissey's representation of the Governor, and that's why I have the Governor at number 9. At number 8, I have Carl Grimes. Now for Carl, what's interesting is that in the comics, if Carl dies, which I hope it doesn't happen, he would be somewhere at the top in my comic book list. But because we're looking at the TV show version, it's different. I think just like the Governor, Carl in the TV show was not utilized the proper way. And especially the way they killed him off, it was just, I think, one of the worst decisions that they've made in The Walking Dead in the TV show. And as far as characters that I would bring back from the dead, the only reason Carl is at number 8 is because he had a lot of potential to become the best character The Walking Dead has ever seen. But because they underutilized him and they didn't give him the right storylines or the right amount of time to shine in the show, he isn't really as high up as you would think. But with that said, he definitely deserves to be at the number 8 spot. At number 7, I have Simon. So of course, there was no Simon in the comics, so Simon, just like some other characters, is a TV show only character. And the main reason why I love this character is because of the way Stephen Ogg brings this character to life and with what he does to the character. I'm a big fan of Stephen Ogg as an actor, and I definitely love what he did to this character and the way he made this character shine in the TV show. So if I were to bring back a character as a villain, as the antagonist, Simon would definitely be up there with the Governor. At number 6, I have Herschel. Now, I don't think I need to say much about Herschel. We all loved Herschel. Herschel was one of the best and most lovable characters from the show and the comics a little bit. And I definitely think once he died and was taken out of the show, there was a huge gap in the show and we just missed a little bit of something for quite a long time. And it took a couple seasons, maybe 2 seasons, 3 seasons for us to really kind of come out of that feeling of something is missing after Herschel is gone. So definitely Herschel is one of my favorite Walking Dead characters. And he's definitely very high up in this list as one of the characters that's dead that I would bring back from the dead. At number 5, I have Abraham. Now, for Abraham, it's very interesting because there's a couple reasons why I would bring back Abraham. One, his lines were just amazing. He could make you feel very emotional. He could make you burst out laughing. You know, he had some crazy hilarious lines, and he was definitely a soldier. He was a fighter. He was one of the strongest fighters we've ever seen as far as the survivor side goes. And Abraham is very high up in my list as a character I would bring back from the dead. Not only could you rely on him because he was very smart, he was a fighter, so you could also rely on him in that sense. And also, he was just a great guy all around. And Michael Cutlet's, the way he played Abraham was just top notch. I loved it. That's one of the main reasons why I love Abraham a lot more in the TV show than the comics. It's because of Michael Cutlet's and how he brought the character to life. At number 4, I have Merle. Now, Merle, just like Simon, is a TV show only character who doesn't exist in the comic book. I love Michael Rooker's representation of Merle and how he plays him, and the way that they have the relationship between Merle and Daryl definitely adds to that as well. But I think that Merle is kind of like Negan and Simon. He's a character you love to hate, but if he's not there, you kind of miss him. And I definitely feel that way with Merle. So Merle is definitely very, very high up in my list as a character I would bring back from the dead. At number 3, I have Shane. Now, it's no secret, Shane was a great character, and much like Michael Cutlet's and Abraham, what John Bernthal did to the Shane character and what he brought to the table in terms of portraying this character definitely made me love Shane a lot more in the show than I loved Shane in the comics. And, I just love this character as not an antagonist or a protagonist, but as a character that is just there. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't really classify Shane as a bad guy or a good guy. He was in that gray area for me. And I definitely miss Shane even at this point. And I definitely loved seeing John Bernthal and Shane come back in season 9 during Rick's final episode. And I would definitely bring Shane back. So he's definitely one of my top picks as well. At number 2, I have Glenn. I loved Glenn. I'm sure a lot of people did. And much like what I talked about with the other characters, what Steven Yeun did to the Glenn character had a lot to do with why I love Glenn. But unlike the others, I love Glenn the same way in the comics as I love him in the show. And, for Glenn, you kind of feel this connection to him. He feels like an ordinary guy. You can bond with him a lot more than you can bond with any other character. And for that reason, Glenn is definitely one of my top picks as a character I would bring back from the dead. He was just a sweetheart. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't like Glenn. So Glenn is definitely at number 2, very, very, very high up in my list as a character I would bring back from the dead. And you might have guessed already, at number 1, I have Rick Grimes. Of course, Rick is not dead, so I don't have a blood splatter on his face in the animation that I'm showing, but he's permanently gone, at least from what they're telling us. So Rick is definitely number 1 spot in my list as someone I would bring back. I feel like as great as this season has been, and as much as I felt like I didn't really feel Rick is gone yet, and I think it might take a little bit of time, but by the end of the season, we really truly feel the impact and know that next season, Rick is not going to be with us. So I definitely miss Rick already, and the more I kind of watch older episodes that he's in or seen season, I miss him even more and I want him back. So he's definitely at number 1 spot in my list. If they didn't do with Rick what they did, Glenn would be number 1 for sure. But now that Rick is permanently gone, at least from what we know, Rick is definitely at number 1. But I want to know everyone's opinions. I want to know everyone's picks. Who are your top 10 picks for characters you would bring back from the dead? Or characters that you wish came back who might not be dead like Rick, but are permanently gone or have permanently left. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads. Like and follow the Facebook page of this channel to join our community, and check out the upload schedule to learn more about daily uploads.